This is another New Black World Order TV Productions. Chopper. What's up, homie? What you doing?
Not much. How you doing?
All right.
Jason Thompson, former 6th District School Board candidate, working on a couple of campaigns at this point in time. Levar Stoney being one of them. We're also working for Ellen Robertson, Cynthia Newville, Felicia Cosby, and Dr. Sapini.
Okay. So let's go in. What's up with the Levar Stoney? I saw the debate last night. He was turned up. You know what I'm saying? And he said some things that resonated with me as far as the procurement laws, 1968 HUD Act, you know, the 40% of the budget that really needs to go to low-income housing people and poor people right here in the city of Richmond, Virginia. He was talking about those contracts. He was talking about some of those contracts going to people who had been arrested before. They got felonies and need to, since they changed their life around, they paid their debt to society, they should be able to participate in some of them city contracts.
Absolutely.
All right. So, what about Levar Stoney?
Levar, for a while, it was difficult for me to go ahead and support him. You know, I definitely am against the state dipping into local politics, but then I started to look at the rest of the candidates. And Levar is honestly the best that we have. He's talking about building a new Armstrong High School. He's talking about building after-school centers so that children who don't have access to food on a daily basis outside of school, they'll have a place to go to not only receive tutoring assistance, but they'll also receive food in the evening time, which is definitely something that I believe is necessary. And then when you boil down the other candidates, specifically the one that's in the lead right now, Joe Moore, of course, there's all of the personal attacks that can go on. If you believe that Myrna was the only underage female that he slept with.
The black girl?
Yeah. If you believe
it was a white girl too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you believe Myrna's the only one that he slept with, then I have some beachfront property in Idaho that I want to sell you. But even outside of the moral issues, right, you have to deal with the biggest issue. For the past 5 years, the city of Richmond has had some serious budget problems. They're consistently talking about closing schools because there's not enough money for Richmond public schools. So then the school board is taking money from city council, and the city council can't go out there and spend money to cut grass or do some of the basic things that they're supposed to do. So we're going to need extra money from the state. Every single one of those state delegates over there hate Joe Morrison. So if we elect him as mayor, how much money do you think we're going to be able to get from him?
They're not going to work together.
Exactly. Levar has a perfect relationship with the majority of them. Of course, with him being a Democrat, there's going to be some Republicans that don't like him.
Right, but there's some bipartisan harmony going on.
Exactly. So there's a lot of money that he'd just be able to walk across Broad Street and they'll give him a blank check. The city of Richmond's monetary problems will be solved with Levar Stoney.
Okay, yeah, because Jack Berry is not a good look. And
Jack Berry, in my opinion, is the second best candidate that we have.
Okay, well, you know, he told me, well, I heard him say last night that he's a good listener.
He is. I've had many conversations with Jack Berry, and full disclosure, I've had many conversations with every single person who's running for mayor with the exception of Bobby Jones and Lawrence Williams. But
if he's been listening good for 40 years, and 1968 is about 40 years ago, what has Jack Berry done about the procurement law? What has Jack Berry, he's been listening, but has he heard us? We want ownership.
Agreed.
We want a stake in. And the only person I heard that spoke to that last night was Levar Stoney.
Agreed. And Levar, like I said, he's by far the best candidate.
And that's why I crashed the governor's party, because of my issues about the 1968 HUD Act.
Levar, like I said, he's hands down the best candidate that we have. If I had to pick a second person, it would be Jack Berry, because I think he would do a better job at managing the city than Michelle Mosby has. Nothing personal against Michelle, but she's been a part of, in my opinion, one of the worst city councils that I've ever seen. So just that right there disqualifies you automatically. John Balaus, he has no shot at winning, nor do I really think that he cares about African Americans. Lawrence Williams has no shot at winning. Bobby Jones has no shot at winning.
Yeah, I personally know Lawrence Williams, and
he's polling at 0%.
Right. He has to put in some more work.
It's possible for him to come back. 40% of the people don't know who they're voting for, but that's unrealistic.
Right, you gotta put in some work. You gotta become visible.
And he doesn't do that whatsoever.
Right.
When I'm out canvassing, I've come across.
Now I seen him before. I never ran across Jack Berry. I ran across Levar Stoney, but I never ran across Jack Berry. I ran across Lawrence Wim before he even decided to run. You know, I seen him in Churchill area.
You mean
but
like 12 years ago, 16 years ago? He's been running for the past 2 or 3 elections. I just don't see anybody who would be better than Levar Stoney, and I'm really upset at all of our people who have been brainwashed by Joe Morrissey.
Right, because all I know Joe Morrissey for is fighting for the freedom of a drug dealer.
Well,
but I mean, that's all what I know him for.
Before then, he was a city prosecutor in the 90s.
I know him for that, putting drug dealers in jail, then jump on the other side of the fence and get them out jail.
Once he realized that he could make more money getting people off than locking them up, he went ahead and did that and became a delegate. So I don't trust Morrissey whatsoever, and he only represents you unless if you pay him a lot.
And he on some, he just jumped out on that statue shit. He just using that monument statue shit just to appeal to.
He changed his position on it.
Yeah, I know, but last night he jumped back on it. See, you follow what I'm saying? At the debate last night, he jumped back on the issue after first jumping on the issue, then pulling back because he know them white folks, them conservative white folks that he probably is in backdoor deals with. They was like, look, motherfucker, you better back up. Then he jumped back on it because he's flip-flopping. He wants to appeal to the blacks. He wants to appeal to these people. I'm not falling for this shit.
No, he's not to be trusted at all. Like Michelle Mosby said, I will not leave my daughter around that man at all.
Yeah, because he's going to burn her up.
Shoot, I wouldn't leave my wife around Joe Morris.
They're going to burn them both up. So, let's talk about your bid for school board.
All right, well, in order to make it on the ballot for school board or city council, you have to turn in 125 signatures from registered voters in your district. I, by myself, walked the entire district, which includes Belmead, Hillside, Old and New Manchester, Mosby, Whitcomb, and Highland Park.
You definitely did.
I walked the entire district by myself to get 175 signatures, and they only counted 58. They said the majority of them couldn't be identified or weren't registered, which is definitely very upsetting given the amount of work that I put in.
Right, because you definitely put in the effort.
But I'm not concerned.
Right, because don't hold yourself responsible for an outcome.
No, it ended up being a blessing in disguise. I wasn't completely prepared. The only reason why I decided to run for school board this year was because I was upset at the system. My son last year at George Mason Elementary School had 11 teachers in one school year.
Right.
11 teachers. And to me, that's just completely unacceptable. By teacher number 6, I went and talked to the assistant principal, tried to speak with the principal, and wasn't able to. I told the assistant principal, look, if you were a quarterback in the NFL, and you had 6 offensive coordinators in 1 year, how successful do you think you'll be?
That's a high turnover.
Exactly.
Something ain't going right there. Something's wrong.
Exactly. And I understand there are certain issues that go on. The first teacher was sick, so, you know, that's definitely understandable. It takes a couple to get in there to see who's really going to mesh well with the class. That's a very prudent and responsible thing to do. But once you get up to about 10 or 11 teachers, that's just completely unacceptable.
Right.
So I tried to speak with Shonda Harris Muhammad. She gave me a small solution regarding this situation, just taking my son and putting him in a different school. I spoke with the assistant principal again, never got to speak with the principal of the school. So I just decided, you know, since I'm being shafted like this,
I might as well become a part of the solution, rather than be a part of the problem.
Lupe Fiasco, he said something in the song one time that has started to become my mantra. Don't complain about the room unless you're going to pick the room up.
Say that again.
Don't complain about the room unless you're going to pick the room up. Basically, if you're not going to contribute to cleaning up the mess, don't complain about the mess.
Exactly. Right. Because if you have no participation, you have no right to speak.
Exactly.
Right. And that's why I'm so vocal, because long as you know me, I've been in this struggle. I've been in this fight, right?
And that's what our forefathers even fought for. They fought the Revolutionary War because they felt it was unfair for them to be taxed without equal representation.
Right. So,
and right now we are not represented well.
But being taxed, but are being taxed heavily.
Definitely, and that definitely goes to our felons because they're out there. Many of them are working, bringing in tax revenue to not just the city but to the state, and we consistently tell them, oh yeah, we'll take all of your money, but we're not going to allow you to say anything.
Right, right, and that don't make sense
at all.
That's why Levar Stoney brung up about those felons having the ability to participate in the procurement laws, right? Because as it stands now, they must use the felony as a reason to decline their participation after they have already paid their debt to society.
And of course they hit us with felonies. Felonies didn't start until after the Civil War ended.
Civil rights fell.
No, until after the Civil War ended.
Okay.
They needed a way to continue to enslave African Americans.
Right, the chain gang. Right.
Right.
Right. The vagrancy laws.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where felonies started at. And before then, I just find it interesting that when there were no or very few.
So that's the humble origins of the prison industrial complex.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's interesting that when you had slaves and very few black people were free, you didn't have a reason for felonies. I mean, the country had been in existence for about 100 years.
Right, and as long as you had all those free skilled laborers, a white man couldn't get a job.
Exactly.
So I got to set these niggas free.
Exactly.
So I can get a job. Then I start a union to block them out.
It's just a continuous cycle, and it's things that we need to stop. I'm upset that in 2016 the Republicans are still trying to block people from voting. Don't you realize that the more people you have voting, the better chance you have of winning? And when you take a stance of continuing to try to restrict people's opportunity to vote, that's just letting them know they're not for you.
Right, because he's actually an impediment to the actual document called the Constitution.
Everybody has the constitutional right to vote as long as you're over the age of 18.
Well, you know they recognize the document when they want them.
Of course.
And they reject it when they want them.
But both parties do.
Right.
You know, the Democrats sit there and talk about the Constitution as well, the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But they violate the Second Amendment all the time with gun legislation.
Right.
The Republicans talk about they're strict constitutionalists, but they always want to impede on free speech. They always want to impose their religion on everybody else.
Right, like
so you're violating the First Amendment.
Like their family values.
Exactly. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that a lot of those values are wrong.
No, I
agree with a lot of them.
It don't mean that when Trump grabbed the girl in the biscuit.
Oh no. That's not family values. That's just. And then that other video of Trump coming out and talking to some 10, 12-year-old girl.
Yeah.
He was talking to some 10, 12-year-old girl talking about, oh, you're cute. I'll date you in 10 years.
Right. And Clinton got a black son. You seen that?
No. Well, I mean, the stuff that Hillary said about us being super predators in the 90s, I'm not for that either.
And that she was a Goldwater girl.
Yeah, people just completely gloss over all of that.
Right.
Me personally, I was a Bernie supporter. But I will support Hillary because I think that she has the best chance of making sure we don't have Trump in office. And to me, that is the biggest thing. I refuse to have somebody. Trump. To me, Trump and Morris are the same people.
Okay.
They're both liars. They're both sexual deviants. They're both rapists.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they both try to pander to groups of people that they don't really rock with like that.
Right.
I mean, do you really think that Trump has anything to do with the poor, ignorant, unintelligent people that are voting for him?
He don't give a. I don't think he cares nothing about that. And they will find out if he wins.
Exactly. Trump would love to be a dictator. That's why he likes Kim Jong-un. That's why he likes Vladimir Putin, because he doesn't know what democracy is about. He doesn't know what listening to people is about. He doesn't know what the popular voice is about. Mm-hmm. All he knows is what his voice is about.
Mm-hmm. That's right. This has been another New Black World Order TV Productions, and a final statement. What do you want our people to do this election day?
Outside of, well, it depends on which district you're in. Me personally, I live in the 6th district, so definitely we don't want Donald Moss in office. We need to keep Ellen Robertson in. She has done a lot for the district. We need to get Shonda Harris Muhammad out because she's nothing more than a liar and a hypocrite. We need to vote Felicia Cosby in for school board. We need to vote Levar Stoney in for mayor. But above and beyond all of that, it does not help for you to elect the right people if you're going to have the wrong mentality. We need to change our mentality as a people, because if we're going to continue to complain about the stereotypes that people have put on us, we need to stop living out those stereotypes as well.
Okay, thank you, brother. This has been another New Black World Order TV Productions. Chopper.